Welcome
Mhm.
to Metallarium Pages, Johan. It's a pleasure to have you here to talk about Evergrey's new album, Theories of Emptiness, and Latin American tour, no, also. So, how are you and the band doing during the last years?
We're doing very well, I think. We had some, like everybody else in the world, had some troubles during the weird pandemic. But we managed to record 2 albums during that time, and finally got out to do some touring. And now we're back with a new record and a better, hopefully, better situation in the world, so we can actually go and play for people. So that
Awesome,
feels
awesome,
feels great. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So let's start by talking about the new album. So, when did you guys start working on these Theories of Emptiness?
Hmm. Could have been like March, maybe last year. We had a band meeting after one of the tours, and we Tom had just asked, maybe it's time to start thinking about the next record. Does anyone have any ideas? And nobody had any. Rickard said, "Oh, I maybe I have something." But for me personally, I had a ton of ideas. So I said to Tom that I would send over the 10 or 11 songs that I felt would, possibly end up on a Evergrey record. And so I sent them over, and he thought they were really good, and asked if I had any more, and I had said I have 40 more ideas. So I sent them over, and they started ripping them apart and building new songs out of it. So I think it's like 8 out of 11 songs, came from those ideas. So
Oh, okay,
it's
awesome,
quite
awesome.
quite quite a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. So every has been releasing every great sorry has been releasing albums consistently, even during the pandemic. So how does the band decide when it's time to release a new record?
Well, pretty much when we're done touring, or when we're in the last touring cycle, because we usually have like a European tour. Maybe we're going to South America, and we're doing. We did the States a few years ago. We weren't there for the last record, but we kind of know when the touring cycle has come to an end, and that's when we start thinking about, okay, it's time to start the next cycle of writing and rehearsing and recording and stuff.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Also, well, yeah, well. So what was the songwriting and recording process for this album similar to your previous one, or did it change a bit?
It changed quite a bit. For this record, as far as songwriting went, I mean, uh, the majority of the ideas came from me, and Tom and Jonas um, arranged my stuff, uh, as opposed to the previous records where they were more involved in the songwriting. And as far as recording goes, it was very different, because we recorded it in our rehearsal room, basically our new rehearsal room, which is an old studio that was converted into rehearsal rooms and stuff like that. And also the previous records we've done, Jonas and me recorded bass and drums together live. But this record, Jonas wanted to record, by himself, so he could focus on the drums. And so he did the drums himself, and then they did the guitars, and then I did bass, and so it was more individual recording this time, which was really nice, because then you can really focus on what you're doing yourself, instead of focusing on someone else. So there are good and bad parts to doing both.
Okay, interesting to know these aspects of the recording process for this new album. And well, relating to the new album, so why did you choose the name Theories of Emptiness for the album?
That's a very good question. Not too sure. It's something that the title came from Tom. Not completely sure where he got it from. I think he was, I don't know, like 5 or 6 songs into writing lyrics, and then he went back and looked at what he had written, and realized that that was sort of, from his perspective anyway, sort of a common thread, whether it's emptiness, existential emptiness, if you feel like you're alone in the universe, or the emptiness of losing someone, could be that. It's a big, huge concept. But obviously it's not a concept record, in that sense. But yeah, a lot of the songs are about his perspective on that.
Okay, okay. Now, other detail that caught my attention on this for this new album is the cover art, because it's very different from the usual aspects that the band present in the past. I remember a lot of albums is very different for now. So for you, can you tell us a bit about the album artwork?
Yeah, we, for a lot of aspects on this record, we wanted something different from what we have done in the past. So we changed, cover art, cover artist, and we changed the mixing engineer. We changed where we recorded. We changed how we record. But the cover art specifically, it was done by Mattias Norén, who did, let's see here, In Search of Truth. I know he did. Possibly Recreation Day as well, I think. Maybe something else. But he also did the latest Silent Skies record. Tom's solo band, or his side project. So the thing was that he really kind of rediscovered the art of Mattias Norén, and they got to talking about possibly doing an Evergrey record, and kind of what we were after, and the minimalism, and and he came up with that, and it's just I think it's amazing. I loved it from the first second I looked at it, because it's different. It's very, it's very minimalistic. It's and I like the fact that I think people would talk about it. Some people, I'm sure, I thought, I was like, some people are gonna hate it because it doesn't look like a typical Evergrey record. But we want to progress. We want to do different stuff. We don't want to record the same album over and over again, having the same visuals all the time. So for me, it's perfect, and I think it fits the music, and I'm very happy with it.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So this time around, you brought Jonas Reske from Catatonia to do vocals on the song called Dreams. So how
Mm.
this collaboration come out? Did you think about when you were composing the song?
Um, I I kind of wrote most of it, and I didn't have any any ideas for vocals at all. I think that's most that's Tom's area of expertise. So when it came time to do that song, he thought that it would be fitting to have it kind of like a duet. And he met Jonas at last year's uh, concerts with Arion. That Arion Lucasen has his band called Arion, and he does every year in Tilburg, I think it is, as a lot of concerts. So they met there and became friends and talked about music and whatever and the usual. Oh, we should do something together, and we did, and I think it turned out really well. I think Jonas is a great singer, and it was fun also to get his kind of growling as well.
Yeah.
I know some people really don't like that, and that's fine. We love it. It wouldn't be on the record if we didn't love it. So yeah, I'm really happy the way it turned out.
Oh, okay, okay, nice, nice. So for a band, each album is special sometimes. And this album brings things very different from the past because, as I mentioned, one of the things of the cover art very different from the usual aspects that the band presents in the past.
Mm.
So, for this aspect, what makes Theories of Emptiness different from Evergrey's previous releases?
Um, a lot of stuff. Sonically, we changed mixing engineers, so it sounds different from the previous, I don't know, like 5 records, because the previous 4 or 5 records we've done with Jacob Hansen in Denmark, and love him and everything he does is sounds like $1,000,000, but it was we felt it was time to try something different,
Mhm.
so we contacted Adam Nolly Getgood from Periphery, because we really enjoy his productions that he does, especially his drum sounds, and and me as a bass player, I think his the low end on his records is really 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 well recorded, and sounds really good. So for me, I was really happy that he wanted to do this. So that's sonically that's going to be very different, and the fact that maybe I wrote, or a lot of the songs came from ideas that I had, so that's going to be different because I don't write music the same way that Tom writes, or Jonas, or Henrik or Rickard. We all write differently, so that's also going to be a quite a big difference.
Huh? Okay, okay. So now talking about the promotion from this new album. So what are Evergrey's plans for the promotion of this new album? Is there anything special planned to celebrate the band's 30th anniversary besides the compilation and live album you already released?
Um, Not specifically, no. We What we're doing for this record is, yeah, we're on Monday we fly to Latin America to do like a 2-week tour. Then we come home, we do some festivals in August, I think. Uh, then we do like 3 weeks in Scandinavia, and then it's November, December in Europe. That's about it as far as touring goes. But yeah, the 30th anniversary is, nothing that I haven't heard anything, and we have a new record to promote and to tour for. So I'm not expecting any special, you know, anniversary shows or like that.
Awesome. So right now, one of the biggest news from the last line of changes on Evergrey's career. So is the departure from Jonas Ekland. Recently left the band and was replaced by Simon Sadness. How this change
Yeah.
came about? Will Jonas still be involved with Evergrey in the future in the studio?
Um, Possibly, yeah. We're leaving that door open, definitely. Because he is such a big part of the Evergrey sound, and he's family, obviously. But the next record is at least 2 years away, so a lot of things can happen on the way to the next record. So we that's too early to say, but we haven't closed that door, and he hasn't either. So I guess we'll have to see how that pans out. But as far as drummers go, yeah, we have a Simen Sandnes, Norwegian fella who's just an amazing, brutally talented drummer, and a really nice guy as well. So I'm very excited about playing with him. He brings a new level of a new type of energy
Yeah.
that he's a youngster. He's only 30 years old, and we're it feels like we're 110. We feel old. I do. So it's really nice to have a young guy coming in and kind of like revitalize the band. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to playing with him and touring with him and doing shows. And I'm sure that our fans who come to the shows, I'm sure they will love him because he's amazing.
Okay. So on this, talking about now as yeah, from the Latin upcoming tour. So how does it feel to be coming back to Latin America? Are there any other places you will be visiting for the first time besides obviously Peru and Peru?
For me, I the new country for me is Peru. I've never been there before, but I have been to Mexico and Chile and Colombia, Argentina, and Brazil before. And I love coming back because it's a beautiful continent, and great people, friendly, and great food, and just amazing. I love it there. But yeah, going to Peru will be very exciting for me, having never been there before. So I don't really know what to expect,
Mhm.
which is exciting. So it should be fun.
Okay. With this aspect relating to this, so how will you resume all old career from Evergrey in just one gig, especially in the new countries? Because as I mentioned, one of these new countries is Peru. Peru never see you before in albums like In Search of True or great albums in the past. Also did the middle, and you are now releasing three albums in a row since the pandemic started. So how you
Mm.
will choose a good songs for the old people that in someday in the past are waiting for to see you alive at that time, but nobody brings you to Peru. But now you
Yeah,
can choose. You have for the first times. How will you choose a set list when you have new countries? Obviously, on the old countries and set list that.
yeah, that's a difficult um, thing to consider. because we have such limited time to rehearse for these tours, we're gonna do pretty much the same songs in South America as we're gonna do in Scandinavia and in later on in the year in Europe. And we do focus mostly on the newer stuff because most people, it seems, we have a lot of new fans who discovered us, in the last few years. Maybe going as far as Hymns for the Broken in 2014, when Jonas and Henrik came back. That's when we really noticed a kind of a resurgence in the band and in popularity. We've been getting bigger and bigger since 2014, more so than previously. So this era of the band is where our focus is. So if you want to hear something from the first 2, 3, 4 albums, maybe you will be disappointed. But those records are out there and for people to listen to. For me, it feels like a completely different band now than compared to I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Obviously, it is a different band with different people in it, but it's just different kind of music. It was more, I don't know, slightly more progressive, I guess, in a way, or more, I don't know. It just feels different. So, but yeah, the focus is on the last 10 years, I would say.
Oh.
With one exception. We play one slightly older song. But that's it.
Okay. Well, now talking about well, that's something other kind of stuff. So choosing a lead single and the order for an album is crucial in today's age. So where people has short attention spans right now. So how
Mm.
does Evergrey approach this?
Well, we get a feeling quite early on, or at least what should be the first song on the record, as well as the last song on the record. We kind of know how we want to start and how we want to finish. But as far as between those, it's all about trying to create a good flow. You have some maybe you start off heavy or fast or whatever you want. We felt that Falling from the Sun was a good riff and a good chorus, so that went first. And then it's all about balancing the tempos and the different keys maybe. So just try to get a good flow in the album. And it's we've been doing this for so long that it's not we all feel pretty similar about which songs should go where. There's never any arguments or any fights about, oh, I want that song to be first, oh, you're an idiot, I want that song to be first. There's nothing like that. We talk about those things, and if someone is really really passionate about something, then maybe they are right. Because if 4 people say, I don't know what should be the first song, and then someone says, I really think this should be the first song, then maybe they're right. And the rest of us just have to go, okay, you seem to feel really passionate about this, and we think you're right. So it's very very democratic that way.
Okay, okay. And the aspects of the Evergrey career, every Evergrey has a very distinctive sound that sets them apart from the other bands. So how do you guys work on maintaining your unique sound while still evolving as a band?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know. I mean, it's the same guys playing, so we all have our how should you say, our sonic signatures in the way we play. I'm gonna sound, a certain way playing bass, and if someone else plays bass, it's gonna still sound like bass, but it's not gonna sound like me. Same with guitar, same with drums, and obviously a big part of the sound of Evergrey is Tom's voice, and he has a very distinctive voice. There aren't any other people really that sound like him, I think. So that's obviously very big part of the sound. But it's not like we deliberately try to sound like Evergrey or deliberately try not to sound like Evergrey.
Mm.
We write the way we write. Try to find new areas to work in, mainly because it keeps us happy and inspired to create. And at the end of the day, it's gonna sound like Evergrey because it's who we are. You know.
Okay. Now, in the band's 30 years, you've been through a lot. That's normally for a band with your experience. So, what has
Mm.
been the biggest learning experience for you guys as a band?
Oh wow. Well, we've definitely have had our asses kicked several times by people in the business and just you know the industry basically and the way it works. Uh, but I mean, for me, I would say there has. I think we have reached a certain calm. A certain. Maybe it's because we're getting older and have done this for a million years, but there's a certain I don't know, security maybe, or a certain, you know, we feel it's, I guess maybe it's a form of confidence that, we've done this for a long time. We can do this for another 30 years or whatever, as long as people want to hear us, and, we'll continue to put out music that we like, and that feels really good. We have a very loyal audience, and that's growing for every album, and we're extremely grateful for that.
Okay, okay. So we're a bit close to this interview, Johan. So as a musicians, how do you deal with the issue of technology in an era where there are thousands of us releasing albums on digital platforms, are reaching people all over the world, and also as you can see, the one of I don't know, I wouldn't see if it's a threat because they are now we have this tool, artificial intelligence, for a lot of people composing music for music art in general. So for
Mm.
you, how do you see these matters on the music industry, especially artificial intelligence and 1,000 releases per week or end of week? Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, with 1,000 releases per week, it's difficult to, you know, get through that kind of thing. Luckily for us, we're a band that have been, we've been doing this for 30 years, so we have a certain audience that expect certain things from us, and that is very, very nice. Um, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, as a new band trying to get heard in today's environment, it has to be I mean, it is difficult. But as far as the AI thing goes, the artificial intelligence, maybe I'm old and grumpy, but I don't see how that can replace anything. It doesn't replace anything for me. You know, I'm not interested in writing music artificially. That's not. I'm not interested, and I'm not interested in AI art. Oh, it looks almost like, yeah, but I don't care. You know, I don't care. I want someone physically to do it, you
Mhm.
know. I want to write my songs the way I write my songs. I don't want to leave that to a computer or, you know, if I, you know, I've done some solo records, and I will continue to do so. I do the covers. I do all the artwork because I like it, because I like to, you know, create, and I learn with everything I do. I learn stuff, and I'm not using any AI stuff because I don't want to. It feels, to me, it feels soulless to me. So I'm not interested at all. And it's so weird that people look to AI for art, you know, for you know, art and music and stuff. It's like, shouldn't we use AI to do all the boring stuff? You know, shouldn't we use AI to clean our houses and wash our clothes and you know, wash our cars or whatever, you know? I, I don't get it. You know, use AI for all the good stuff. It's insanity to me. It's
Okay.
just an insanity, and it's just stupid to me.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
way I see it. Maybe I'm old and gray, but that's that's my take on it.
Okay, okay. Well, Johan, the sad times are up with this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. Thank you a lot for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you. So congratulations on the new album. It's a great one. So and we have to see you soon on Latin American tour. So finally, do you have any words for your fans in Latin America and Metallarium followers?
Absolutely. I mean, if you see us coming to a town near you, or even if you live in the town we're coming to, please, you know, grab your friends and come to the show if possible. We're gonna have a blast. We're gonna play some great songs, and we're gonna have so much fun. So please join us on this incredible journey, and you know, you won't regret it.